Hi guys, good morning. It's Kamau. Today I want to do a video about the toxic ex. Everybody has been talking about their toxic ex for the past year or so, or probably even longer. I've noticed that on social media, a lot of memes flooding about toxicity in, mainly the exes, those who you were in a relationship with, and for some reason you had to move on. But it just seems to me like in most cases, or in many cases, the reasons were negative. Because in my opinion, you can end a relationship on a positive note. You can agree that you've outgrown each other, you no longer see eye to eye, and it's time to move on, whether or not you were married, whether or not there were children involved. You can be amicable and mature about the whole thing. But I'm seeing so many persons, and I'm in a lot of mom groups too, so the moms will be talking about their past relationships and now the relationship as co-parents if there were children involved. I'm not on the dad groups, clearly, unless I'd have to go undercover, but I'm not. But I guess they're over there talking about the same things too, and some of these, I'm guessing, on both sides, everybody's saying the other one was toxic, right? No, sometimes I see memes. For example, you would have a meme saying, take back your ex or go to prison for 5 years, right? Take back your ex or go to prison for 5, and you would see the person in the meme turning themselves in, to be handcuffed, because clearly 5 years in prison is nothing compared to what they went through with the ex. Or you'll see one that says, take back your ex or mop up the beach. And you see the person in the video mopping up the water that's constantly flooding in on the beach, constantly going back, coming in, mopping it up. So this is gonna take a lifetime, right? But this is much preferable to going back to the ex. Or I saw a meme that says, if I knew the day that when I would meet my ex, if I knew that I would have met my ex, I would have stayed home and boiled rice 1 grain at a time. I would have stayed home and boiled the rice 1 grain at a time. Now imagine, you're saying, rather than meet your ex, do you know how many grains of rice? Let's say you cook a pound of rice. How many grains of rice? You would prefer to boil that one at a time. I saw another one that said, take back your ex or cut the grass with a nail clip. Guys, imagine these scenarios, right? And I saw the person on his belly in the grass cutting each blade of grass with a nail clip. And then you have the memes that say, for example, in some of the mom groups, I've seen this meme, what is your ex's name, what's your ex's number stored as in your phone? So when you store your ex, I guess this is for the ones who are co-parenting and they have to still be dealing with the ex because of the children, right? So the number still has to be in the phone. What is your ex's number stored as? And trust me, you don't want to hear some of the terms that the ex is stored as. So when the phone rings, that's the word that come up on the phone. You can imagine some of these terms, but I'm saying, why does it have to be like this? And why is it so rampant? Everybody's ex was toxic. If everybody's ex was toxic, it simply means we're all toxic. Do you realize that that's what it means? Or majority of us are toxic. if all of the exes were toxic. So it simply means then we have to be honest with ourselves and realize that maybe we were the problem. Or more realistically, we were part of the problem. I think many of us are just not able to accept that. We just feel that it's the other person's fault. The other person was toxic. What are some of these toxic traits that we're talking about, right? Another word I hear a lot lately, narcissistic. My ex was narcissistic. He was a narcissist, right? So what does that mean? So this is someone who is abusive, usually psychologically, right? So if he or she knows you have a weakness, they would manipulate it. They would use that to gain the advantage over you. They would be spiteful, manipulative, selfish, use the children against you in the sense of denying access to your children, denying you access to even their relatives who you were close with, that kind of thing, or denying you access to your own relatives, telling you you should not interact with your own relatives, right? Such a person might be a deadbeat dad, deadbeat mom, abandon responsibilities, shirking responsibilities. These are all the things we mean when we say a person was toxic, right? Can't take accountability for his or her actions, wanting to blame somebody else all the time for whatever happens. It's your fault, it's not my fault. And I'm certain there are many, many persons like that. But sometimes it's us. We are the ones. We are the narcissists. We are the narcissists sometimes. We are the toxic person. Or at least one of the two toxic persons who are in the relationship. We need to come to terms with that and to commit to healing. Sometimes you should just take some space. After a relationship ends, don't rush into another one. Take some time, take some space, and search yourself. Where did I go wrong in the relationship? What was my role in it going over the precipice, right? Because I'm sure all of these persons who were making these memes about whom we would prefer to stay home and boil rice one grain at a time, I am sure on that day when we actually did meet that person and we were in the relationship with that person, they were God's gift. Best thing since sliced bread, right? They were the best thing since sliced bread. So clearly we had a role. We entertained this person, we opened up to this person. So is it that our screening system is at fault? Why we keep allowing these people in? So we need to check our system of screening them. Because if one after the other you letting in these toxic people, something wrong with your gate, your gateway, there's a breach, right? So we need to check that entrance and see, why are these people getting in? Is it that you need to raise your standards? Is it that you need to be more scrutinous? Is it that you need to wait a little longer sometimes, wait a little longer? Put the person in some situations to see their character. Some little crisis situation, wait and see how do they deal with certain crises. How do they deal with and ask questions. We take things for granted. We don't ask questions. We make assumptions. We put words in people's mouth. We finish their sentences, and then we blame them. No. You have to take some of the blame for these toxic persons who are coming into your lives. The narcissists that are entering your gates, we have to take responsibility. It's our gate. Right? It's our gate. It's just, I just find it so funny. Everybody's ex, or most people's exes, were toxic. You know? So what does it say about you? We're not doing enough soul searching. We're not doing enough honest answering questions to ourselves. Be honest with yourself. Where did you go wrong in the relationship? And if the relationship has to end, let it be amicable. You are going that way, I'm going that way. Fine. Let's shake on it, right? Let's shake on it. And if children were involved, and we still, because once children are involved, you are committed for life, or you should be. That should be the idea in your head, right? We are going to, at least for as long as a child needs our help, our financial help, our guidance, we must be there. So we're saying, well, we're going to have to find a way for the sake of the children. I'm not saying to stay for the sake of the children. I'm saying be amicable for the sake of the children. That we can do. Because the children, they love both parents. They don't want to feel like they have to choose between this parent or the other. And we should not put them in that position either. Right? We should not put them in that position. They are a product of the two of us. And they like to know that mother and father are getting along. Because if we don't get along, it will cause them to feel some kind of way inside, right? Because they are the product of that union. And I just want to end with a line from my favorite poet, Kamaudacity. You know, he said he did a poem way back in the day. But you know, I'm vintage, so that's where my mind is at most times. So he said, if parting is necessary, let us part as lovers. You can look up that poem. It's a very short poem, right? I won't tell you the whole poem, but just that line, that very first line. If parting is necessary, let us part as lovers. Let us part as friends. Let us part as two people who still respect each other and still see each other as human beings. Not some of the names that we're going to store the number in the phone. Some names. How could you call the person who you were lying down with, sharing these gentle moments with, making plans for the future at some point, cuddling this person, looking into this person's eyes, and then you're going to store their number as, you know the names. I'm not going to call those names, right? And my last word on this, please don't let the children suffer for our mistakes. Our indiscretions, don't let the children suffer. So I'm closing with another song, a line from another song by, what's her name? Millie Jackson. The song she did about cheating, right? Cheating is a game where nobody wins, and the ones who aren't big enough to play are the ones who lose. And we know those are the babies. They aren't big enough to play in this game. We're the players, so don't let them lose. If we have to part, just part as friends, part as lovers, part with the memories, part knowing that this is a process. Life is a process, guys. We make choices that we regret, yes. It's part of the process. So, but regretting it doesn't mean we have to condemn the person, we have to call down karma on the person. Like, that's another thing. karma gonna get your ass. Karma gonna get you too. Karma gonna get all of us. Right? I see people calling down karma on their exes like, not, I mean, karma going to be so busy. Guys, let's just be nice, right? Learn from your experience, move on, allow people to move on. You don't need to be stalking them. You don't need to be calling the new person in their lives, telling them old dirt. They don't need to know the old dirt. Okay? Don't use your children to spite your ex. Don't use anything to spite anybody. Just move on with your life and make the lessons be valuable so you can make better choices. Alright, so take care.